Yellambika Girls High School, Sirigere. Today, I will teach you a lesson from the 10th standard, 4th unit, that is B.R. Ambedkar. We already learnt the previous class about the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. This is a lesson extract from a book called Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, The Man and His Message. For this book, so many writers have written their article. This is an article written by Sir R. Venkatraman to this book. In the previous classes, we learned that Ambedkar became a great person because of his voracious reading. Yes, no doubt, he was a voracious reader. Not only as a student but also throughout his life was a voracious reader. He used to buy books always. Used to buy books by curtailing his daily needs. I already told you he bought about 2000 old books when he went to New York. And when he went to London for second round table conference, there also he bought so many number of books that they had to send to India in 32 boxes. These two evidence or examples shows no doubt Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was a voracious reader. The next we also learned about what are the influences on Ambedkar. The two things were much influenced on him. The first one was the 14th Amendment of USA, which gave freedom to the black Americans. In the parallel, we saw the same situation of the depressed classes in India. He wanted to uplift them by using such an amendment in India also. That was the first influence on him. After returning to India, he was greatly influenced by the work of the Mahatma Phule, a voter of the classless society and women's uplift. He was greatly influenced by it. So because of these two influences, 14th Amendment of USA and work of Mahatma Phule, he decided use all his time and his talents only to uplift his underprivileged brothers, his downtrodden brothers, so that those should come up in the life with the equality with the other class of people. Like way, he was a great person, an intelligent man, had us a lot of opportunity, but he never used those opportunity for himself. Note this point. He never used any opportunity for self-development, but he used each and every opportunity, whole life, his whole intelligence for the development of the other people who came like him. This is the greatness of the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And also we learned that when you are as per the Indian Act of 1935, he was elected to Bombay Assembly. There he made a great role. This became evident to the whole nation. His debate, his speech in legislature became evident to the whole nation. Soon the Constituent Assembly gave him an opportunity to work in the drafting committee, not only as a member but also as the chairman of the drafting committee. So he was not in the Congress, but the farsightedness of those Congress leaders of those days were made in the chairman to work, to give the most notable shape to his thought of social justice. So as the chairman of drafting committee, he anticipated every conceivable requirement of his country. He took the experience from the other country, he changed according to our society. Like this, he built a magnificent edifice, a great book of law. That's called Constitution book. So he was supported by so many great livingers, Alladi Krishnasamayam, Iyengar, K. Munshi, Gopal Krishna Iyer. So many luminous or the great people were also there. With all their support, he was able to. But there was one person, the pilot of this constitution making was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So after making a constitution, he explained to the parliament with a tactics, is his intelligence, and even in a long ways that a common man can understand. In such a way, he explained each and every thing that are in the constitution. And also we learned that he had a clear perception. Ambedkar has a clear perception, clear idea of mutuality of the three pillars of the state. Which are the three pillars of the state? Yes, legislature, executive, and judiciary. He raised that the jurisdiction of each should be clear. There should be clear jurisdiction between the legislature, executive, and judiciary. Otherwise, there will be complete tyranny or oppression, or there will be the same time they had a sense of importance of the role of the citizen. Otherwise, there should be a clear and primality. And the following significance he has made. So, what is the Constitution of Ambedkar? Constitution is a fundamental document. What is the Constitution? Is a fundamental document which defines the position and power of the three organs of the state. What are the three organs of the state? As legislature, executive, and judiciary. He also defines the power of the executive and the power of the legislature against the citizen, as we have done in the chapter dealing with the fundamental rights. In fact, the purpose of the Constitution is not only to to create the organs. The purpose was not only to create the organs, but to limit their authority. Otherwise, there would be, if no limitation was imposed on them, there will be completely oppression or tyranny. Tyranny means unjust, oppression means bad rule. So, whatever the thing, whatever the rule we have, whatever the positions we have, whatever be the organs in the Constitution, each and everything should be in the jurisdiction. There should be limitation on those. Otherwise, it will lead to bad rule or oppression. That's why he also imposed a limitation on those organs. Nobody is independent. They should work mutually. Then only we can rule the good government. Okay. So I should continue the same today. Jawaharlal Nehru chose Dr. Ambedkar as the first law minister of independent India. This was a recognition to Dr. Ambedkar's skill in the field of law and legislation, as also tried to the vision of social justice, a vision which was thought to be infused into the new Indian polity. But above all, this was a tribute to the success of Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar's own campaigns against social injustice. Who would have dreamt that one born to a Mohar family would one day become not only a law minister but also a lawmaker and be hailed as the modern Manu? Stop here. We know that who was Nehru. Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, was one of the freedom fighters of India, and he was the first Prime Minister of India. So, being a first Prime Minister of India, he took a decision. And he chose, what was the decision? He chose Dr. Ambedkar as the first law minister. He chose him as the first law minister of India. First law minister. Who was the first law minister of India? Yes, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the first law minister of India. Nehru was the first prime minister and Ambedkar was the first law minister. What made Nehru to choose Ambedkar as the first law minister? The question will be asked like this. So, the answer is, this was a recognition. Making him a law minister was a recognition of Ambedkar's skill in the field of the law and legislation. He has a great knowledge Ambedkar has a great knowledge and skill in the field of the law and legislation. That was the first point. He was became or was selected as the law minister. Why did Nehru choose him as the law minister? The first point was it was a recognition to Dr. Ambedkar's skill and intelligence in the field of law and legislature. And also, his tribute to his vision of social justice. He has a vision. There should be a social justice. All should be treated equal. That's a social justice. No one should be discriminated on the basis of the caste, creed, color, etc. So he has a vision. Nehru had a vision of social justice. So these are the two things. So the first one is it was a recognition to Ambedkar's skill in the field of law and legislature. Second one was it was a tribute to his own vision of social justice. A vision which was sought to be infused in the new Indian polity. That vision should be incorporated in his new polity of government. But above all, apart from this, it was a tribute to the success of Ambedkar. It was a tribute to the success of Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar's own campaign against social injustice. So no doubt, why Nehru chose him as the Dr. Ambedkar as the law minister, first law minister? Because first one is his skills in the law and legislature. Second one is vision of social justice. The third one was, so is a tribute to Ambedkar's own campaign. Ambedkar made a number of campaigns against social injustice. There was a social injustice existed in our society. He fought throughout his life for that only. For those purpose, he was elected as the first prime minister. Who would have dreamt? Nobody could have dreamt. No one in India have dreamt that one born in a Mahar family, one was born in a low caste family, would one day not only a law minister but also a lawmaker. Who could have dreamt? Nobody would have dreamt that one day Dr. Ambedkar will become not only, so we know that he is a lawmaker and also a law minister. He was not only a law minister, anybody can become a law minister, but no, it is not possible for each and everyone to make a law. But Ambedkar has wrote the book of law, constitution, and also he became the first law minister of India. That was the greatness of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And be hailed as the modern Manu. So you might have known about the Manu. So Manu was a philosopher, Indian philosopher, who had made some restriction in the society. What is the position of the man? What is the position of the woman? What is the position of the wife? What is the position of the father? Like this, in the society, he made some restriction in his book, Manusmriti. The same way, after independence, the person, Dr. Ambedkar, was known as the modern Manu. He made the constitution. So, what is the position of each and every class? What is the position of the person? So, like this, he has clearly made a law to uplift the underprivileged brother. That's why he was also known as the modern Manu. Have you seen this paragraph? The paragraph you learned that Nehru chose Ambedkar as the first law minister because of his skill, because of his vision of the social justice, and also tribute to his own campaign against social injustice. And also, nobody would have dreamt that this man was born in an ordinary family, one day became law minister, but not only law minister, but also a lawmaker, and hailed as a modern Manu. Okay, so shall we go to the next paragraph? In the 4 decades and more since independence, much progress has been achieved in providing equality of opportunities to the people. Members of scheduled caste find doors which had been closed to them for centuries being open. No legal bars exist today for self-expression or self-advancement. They are enrolling themselves in the institutions of higher learning and entering public services. They have come to occupy high offices of state, both at central as well as state. Judges, ambassadors, governors, have been drawn from their ranks, and they have acquired themselves credibility in all these positions of responsibility. As a result of Dr. Ambedkar's work, in the last 4 decades, what is a decade? Decade. Decade is a period of 10 years. A period of 10 years, Dashaka. In the last, after the independence, as a result of the Dr. Ambedkar work, from the last 4 decades, more since independence, after independence, in the last 4 decades, much progress has been achieved. Much of the progress, they have made a great progress in providing. In where do we find the progress? In providing opportunity, equal opportunity. So once upon a time, there was no opportunity for them. Only a few class of people are going to get all the opportunities, not women and other caste people. But after the independence, after the constitution, even common men, so those who are neglected in the previous centuries, the low caste peoples, they all got equal opportunity to the people and members of the scheduled caste. So as a result of that, members of the scheduled caste find doors. Scheduled caste people were neglected the opportunities, but now they have found doors which had been closed for them for centuries. For so many centuries, those opportunity doors have permanently closed in previous centuries. But after independence, after the constitution, those people who are the tribal people, the scheduled caste people, the scheduled tribe people find opportunity, equal opportunity after the independence. No legal bars exist today for self-expression or self-advancement. No legal bars are there for self-expression or self-advancement. It's for common. Legal bars are there not for the self but for the community or for the country or for the nation. There's no advancement for the there. So now, as a result of these opportunities, they are enrolling themselves in the institutions. Now, there is the scheduled caste people have enrolled, they admitted themselves in the institutes, which institutes of higher learning, not lower or primary learning. They have all enrolled their names in the higher learning. They also got good education. They also got ranks. They also got make master degrees, speeches, everything they have made because they have given the opportunity. And entering the public services, not only get a higher, so they are naturally get education and their opportunity to serve in the service sector, public services. They have come to occupy, so as a result of this of 4 decades, as a result of these all the things made by Dr. Ambedkar, those people in the 4 decades come to occupy the high posts, occupy the high offices of state, both at the center as well as in the state. What kind of posts they occupied? They become the judges, ambassadors, governors, have been drawn from their ranks. See, once upon a time, before independence, they were treated. They are not fit to learn. They were never given an opportunity to serve. They were never given an opportunity to learn. After independence, all those doors have been opened, so they entered themselves into the education and also higher education. They got skills, intelligence, everything. The education they have also got. As a result of that, now they are entering into all the fields, almost all the fields of public sector, private sector, as well as the service sector. They have enrolled themselves in the higher education and also they work in the high posts of the central as well as the state governments. They have become judges, ambassadors, ministers, governors. So all these positions were not given, they have taken. They are not given, but they are taken from the ranks, from the intelligence, by their efforts. It is all because all these credibility in all those positions of responsibility. They have showed in not only they have got positions, in that position they have proved themselves, they are fit. Those people are fit to do the job. to serve that position. They have proved themselves. It means it all because of Dr. Ambedkar. This great person had made equality for those people who are lost those opportunities from the centuries. Is it completely achieved everything? No, yet. And yet much remains to be done on social plane. The annual reports of the Commissioner of Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe lists several violations of the law and several instances where notwithstanding the statute, the members of the scheduled caste have been discriminated against. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's work will be truly complete only when social discrimination is completely eliminated from our society. See, it is not completely have eliminated the discrimination yet, even though little bit discrimination is there, and yet much remains to be done. Much remains to be done where in social plane. In society, there is no equality even today. Because the annual reports we have seen the annual reports of the commissioner. Which commissioner? For scheduled caste and scheduled caste. For the scheduled caste and scheduled caste, the government has made a separate commissioner. Those annual reports have been showed that list of several violations. The people have violated the law. According to the law, all are equal. Still, some of our people don't understand the law, don't understand the humanity. They are discriminating themselves. They feel they are great and others are inferior. That bad instances have been witnessed even today, here and there. Members of the scheduled caste have been discriminated. Not only they have several instances, not only withstanding the statute book. Statute means books, book means law book. They are not understanding the statute. They are not given respect to the statute book. So members of the scheduled caste have been discriminated against. Those people have been discriminated by the other people. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's dream and aim will be truly complete. When it will be truly complete? When social discrimination is completely eliminated from our society. Ambedkar's dream will come true when only social discrimination should be completely discriminated from our society. Then only Ambedkar's view or his aim will come true. Shall we go to the next stanza? You understand? Okay. So though they were given opportunity, this stanza learned that this paragraph, still we have some violations of the law. Still we have some discrimination here and there, because the annual report showed there were some discriminations here and there. That's why that should not happen. Anyway, Ambedkar's dream or Gandhi's dream will completely true when social justice, social discrimination is completely eliminated from our society. Next paragraph. Baba Sahib Ambedkar always stressed the importance of constitutional methods to achieve social objectives. In an interesting observation, he once described the methods of civil disobedience, non-cooperation, and satyagraha as the grammar of anarchy. The observation assumes importance of the context of public agitation in free India. It is one thing to utilize these methods in a struggle against the alien power. The right to rebellion is recognized in the government without people's consent, be it alien or national dictatorship, but not in a democracy. Based on the free and fair elections, misdirected, violatable, such agitations invariably result in the loss of the lives and public property. So, Baba Sahib Ambedkar has a faith in Constitution. Constitution is the book we have to respect. This is the book we shall to follow. I thought. Always stress the importance of constitutional methods. Baba Sahib always stressed the importance. What is the importance of constitutional methods to achieve social objectives? If you have any social objectives, if you have some objectives, How can you achieve these objectives? Some people thought, so to achieve these objectives, you have to fight, you have to struggle. No, these methods are not good to achieve the social objectives. That's why he says, in an interesting observation, he once described the methods, these methods like civil disobedience. You have to work, act like a civilian. There should not be any civil disobedience or non-cooperation. And Satyagraha as the grammar of anarchy. Anarchy means arajikate. These methods are grammar of anarchy according to Ambedkar. The question comes like this: what is called grammar of anarchy according to Ambedkar? So according to Ambedkar, civil disobedience, non-cooperation, and satyagraha are termed as the grammar of anarchy because he believed in constitutional method to achieve the social justice or social objectives. The observation assumes importance in the context of the public education. The observation assumes importance in the context of public education in free India. In free India, these kinds of educations are not required. It is one thing to utilize these methods. So where should we use these methods? These kinds of methods. Methods like civil disobedience, non-cooperation or satyagraha. We should not make in the free India, but they are valuable in to fight against the alien power, foreign power. Only to fight against the foreign power, we have to use such ways. Or the right to rebellion, recognize against the government without people consent. Where there is a government which works against the consent of the people, alien or national dictatorship. Some people works like a dictators. So while we are fighting against the dictators, or we have to fight against the foreign powers, then only those methods are good. Civil disobedience, non-cooperation, satyagraha are good, but not in the independent India because we are under democracy. But not in a democracy because which is based on free and fair elections. So Indian democracy is having a fair and free elections. So misdirected and violation. So we should not be misdirected or violate such institutions invariably. So as a result, what will happen? Even in a democratic country where we have a power to choose our own leader, we should not take such ways to protest. They are called grammar of anarchy. Because if we made even in the free India, in the democratic country, if we selected to do, if we want to do fight against the government in during through satyagraha or non-cooperation, it is bad because such agitation invariably result in as a result they will loss of lives and public property. What will happen if you fight like this? What will happen? Some people are going to lose their life, or some public property will go to lose. That's why, so if your public life, some people lost their life, it's a great loss for our country. If there is a public property loss, is a loss for the country. So we should not take such ways to protest our own leaders. But it was suitable while we fought against the British rule or any foreign rule or dictatorship, but not in a democracy. Understood? I think you have clearly understood what was Ambedkar's view in fighting, in making for our right. We are making a movement. So in there also we should not take any satyagraha or non-cooperation. Only constitutional method. Constitutional method is the right method in which there is no loss of life, no loss of property. Definitely we are going to get what do we want. Thank you. I will continue the remaining part of the lesson in the next class. Thank you very much.